Now, you're in and out of jail. You're in and out of rapping. How does the jewelry business come into play?
Oh, like ever since I was a youngin', you know, it was I love jewelry. It's just something about that feeling of shining, or so to me it was always like a sign of success, you know, like when you come from nothing and being able to buy something and wear it and having it hold value, you know what I mean? Like I used to always feel like, why buy a Lamborghini when I could be wearing a Lamborghini and it doesn't lose value like a Lamborghini? I always been into it. I was buying jewelry a lot, and that's really how I got involved in it. You know, I'm the type of person, I'm a real fast learner. When I'm involved in something, I like to get to know it more. I like to break it down and find out the pros and cons of it, and through experiences, you know, like I just knew I was getting fucked over when I was paying all these high prices for the jewelry, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of like just fell into that, you know what I mean? I've been buying jewelry. I'm a personal jewelry enthusiast, you know. I have my personal jewelry collection that I love, you know, that I would never sell no matter the price. That's how it kind of came about.
Now, is this something that you go to school for or not?
I would say you go to school for it. 3 years ago, I would never believe, you know, the way I looked at the jewelry business 3 years ago was like, hey, this is something it runs in the family, you know. You got to have the plug to deepen the other side of the world to be able to make this work, you know. You see, you know, people in their family, it's like a family trait, you know, a family business. I never would have thought I would be in the jewelry business. So I have the only experience I have from jewelry is from the personal experience as a consumer, a customer, and now as a jeweler.
Now, how did you get popular as a jeweler?
I think the best way, I've thought about that, and I think the best way that it worked out was when I was doing music or 10 years ago. Like if you Google my name, you know, I've always wore nice jewelry. You know, I always had an eye for how I wanted my jewelry to look like. And you know, people that do know me for that. I'd be flossing. And so I think I first got into like kind of like middlemaning things, I think a couple years ago, kind of like putting things together, making a little bit of money, to the point where my partner now, which was my jeweler at the time, just told me that he thought I should, you know, think about becoming a jeweler. I think that's how I wear it. What was the question again? I kind of got lost.
My question originally was, how did you get popular as a jeweler?
Oh, okay. And so I think that's when I started being the jeweler. And, you know, when I first had Instagram, I used to always hashtag done right, you know what I mean? And it was basically jewelry that I saw or jewelry that I had that I felt that was done right, as in the craftsmanship, the execution, the setting, the work, period. You know, like there's more to it than just putting a diamond in a piece of metal. And so it kind of like went on with it. People started using the line, and, you know, jewelers, they tend to lie a lot, and I was lied to a lot about the whole VS, VVS, new words like true VS, which doesn't even exist in the jewelry world. You know, everybody wants the VVS or VS, but what you don't realize is that doesn't make the diamond shine. It's the color that makes it shine. When diamonds are at a small size, or such a small size, you can't tell if it's V or VVS. It's not even worth you even getting it GIA certified to be VS or VVS. But, you know, we're so used to hearing the top of the line, like everybody would want a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini because that's the top of the map. You know, I always look at the jewelry business like buying a brick of cocaine. You know, the person you buy it from can tell you it's pure, but all the hands that has touched it from wherever it started at across the world to you, you don't even know if it's really pure or not. But if you know it's the best shit you ever had, you're gonna say it's pure. So if you think that's the shiniest diamond you saw, you think it's a VVS. But you know, I think that's where I got more popular, because I kind of started airing out, not even airing out jewelers, but just speaking the truth from my experience as a customer. You know, what I dealt with them hitting me up in the head, or them selling me something that wasn't what it was, you know, and things like that. I think people took notice of that, and they took notice of the done right. They started seeing that, and they seen my jewelry, and what better way to want to spend money with somebody that you see how their works come out. You know, like I always say, I would never sell something I wouldn't wear myself. And so I think that's kind of like what got me popular, is really just putting out good quality work, like every jeweler should do, and you know, treat it like an art. You know, love what you do.
What's your definition of a jeweler?
My definition of a jeweler would be like a definition for a painter to think of a painter, because I feel like from beginning to end, it's the way you see, or how you see it before the customer sees it. A customer comes to you and says, hey, I like this, I want to do this. And you put your thought, your imagination, and make something or bring something to life for them. And using the right metals or the quality that they would want, or the, you know, like the finest quality possible, and making it from finish to end. You know, not all jewelers do their own setting and casting, and yeah, that's what setters and casters do. But if you're a jeweler, you should be able to stand by them and show them how you want them to do it. You should be able to visualize the piece or whatever product it is done before it's done. And that's how jewelers, and then I call them foolers.
Foolers.
Yeah. You know,
now,
so.
What's the difference between a middleman person versus a full-blown jeweler?
The middleman person is the person that goes to the jeweler and says, you know, how much would you charge me for this? And goes to the customer and charges them money on top. Situations like that don't turn out good, because basically you're charging them more than what it's worth. And it's happened to me, you know. But we all want to make sure that we get what we pay for. You know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, in my situation, like from me doing what I was doing in the streets, I wanted to know that whatever I bought jewelry-wise, if emergency ever happened and I needed money, I could sell this back and not lose half the money I spent on it. You know, I feel like everybody would want that though, you know? Some people can just do it like, fuck it, I just want to do it, cool, do what you do. But, you know, I think majority of the people, we want to get what we pay for, and in case we ever need that money, you know, we get back most of it.
Now, how long have you been doing it for? How long have you been a jeweler for?
I've been an official jeweler since last year, January of last year.
And the client list. Give me the credit roll. Give me the credit history. What are we looking at?
You know,
some pieces that people might have seen your work as.
I've had input in Flow Rider's Jesus piece, which was made by my partner, but the actual Jesus piece, like the face and the design we put together, I had a lot to do with that. You know, my partner Iceman Nick, we use a lot of our mind. We put a lot of our minds together. Ply's new Run Off on the Plug Twice bracelet and necklace. Y'all might not have even seen that yet. Ply's Jesus piece. Black Youngster CMG piece. That's my favorite CMG piece too, not just because I made it, you know what I mean? The Low Life for Life piece, Future and The Weeknd and them wearing. The latest XO piece. You know, the previous ones were by my partner, he created them, and I kind of just brought in my little twist of how I felt it should have looked and came out. The Spiff TV's MMG piece. My partner did all of Rick Ross's jewelry, all the face and the Carroll City Cartels. There's a lot of different pieces out there that before I was even a jeweler, I was a part of helping, you know, make it the way it should have came out, you know, and you know, that's how we created Team Done Right.
When it comes to customers, clients requesting to do business with you, what's the most popular thing you get requests for at the moment?
Custom pieces. Custom pieces are usually the best because I kind of like, I get in this mood and I'll start designing my own stuff. Like, for example, we started this Dynasty collection. You know, everybody was doing like the royal stuff, the rubies and the emeralds. And I just came up with the idea one day how it would look with a piece of jade in the center. And at first, people didn't really get on it yet, you know, and as time went by, it caught on. We do a lot of custom. I did a 3-dimensional God of War statue. That thing is bad for one of my clients in Canada. So a lot of people are starting to realize now that, you know, Jimmy as a jeweler uses his brain. I use my imagination. I give it my all. You know, I put my heart into it. You know what I mean? I make it like I'm making my own piece of jewelry. And so I like to see it at its best. You know, I like people to walk around and get that feeling from other people, you know what I mean? Knowing that they paid what it was worth, if not less than what people would charge for something that's amazing, you know what I mean? The look on people's faces when they see amazing things are a good feeling.
Now, when it comes to the jewelry business for you, what's been your most weirdest request? As far as maybe a piece or...
I got a lot of slack for this when I posted it too. I had a client that had an elephant tusk. You know, it was like blessed by his family, whatever, in Cambodia. And it had like wrapped around it, like the top half of the tooth, and it was like sharpened. And he sent it to me, and he wanted to put a frame around it and ice it out, you know? And, you know, as a jeweler, you do, you satisfy the customer, you know, you get it and you make it the way they want you to make it. But I would say that's the weirdest on the top of my head. You know, a lot of people was not happy with it. Like, people were talking about animal rights and all kinds of stuff. I had to take it off. But yeah, I'd say that was the weirdest situation overall.
Most expensive piece you've been a part of?
The most expensive piece. I'm trying to think. I think we made a custom barrel chain for a friend of mine in Dallas. Barrel chain, basically, each link is like a barrel, a cylinder size. We put like a center stone on the top, which is like about a 1 carat, and a bunch of small stones around it. That chain was about $160,000, you know, appraising at like 350.
Favorite piece you've ever worked on so far?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. And this is from the top of my head, but that CMG piece. I always loved the whole CMG logo, the original one. And it's crazy how it happened, and it ended up feeling to where, you know, Black Youngster hit me up, and he was just like, yo, I trust whatever you want to do. Originally, he wanted the small C's, and I just told him, I said, I got this idea that I've always thought of before when I first seen this, you know, when I used to always see the CMG, even when y'all, Yo Gotti performed down here at the Warehouse Live, and y'all had the C and the M and the G letters. And I was just like, I wonder why they never had like a CMG piece like that. You know, it took longer than expected to make because we were just trying to make it right, fit it right. But it was a pleasure and an honor to make that, you know. I feel like that's my favorite CMG piece, and I'm not saying that because I made it. I feel like it's more to it when you look at it.
For people trying to get at you and reach you to do business, what's the best way?
The best way is my phone number, which is 832-834-9012. Social media, my Instagram, I keep up with that a lot with all my stuff. which is Jimmy, JIMMYXBOI. Those are the best ways, the easiest.